Hi everyone, it's Felicia. So this week's topic is courage. I found this quote by Mark Twain and he says, "Mastery of fear is courage, not the absence of fear." Mastery of fear is courage, not the absence of fear. We all have things we're afraid of, right? But our life continues to stay small, to stay the same when we live in fear-based consciousness. But when we live in courage, we're willing to step out, step up, and do things that we may not even think that we can do. You know, there's another acronym of fear that I love, and it says, it's false evidence appearing real. So sometimes we're afraid of things just because they're unknown, or we just don't see them clearly. There's even a story about this in the Buddhist tradition about the rope versus the snake. And the story is the man is walking along, and it's dusk. And he comes across in the path what he thinks is a snake, right? And it's actually a rope, right? So imagine it's kind of dark and the rope is laying in the road and you can't really see it. And it's in this story, he's on his way to somewhere really important. And here it is, he's allowing a rope, right? This thing he thinks he's afraid because he thinks it's a snake, but it's actually a rope to stop him in his path. And he freezes. He won't go any further. And he stands there until the light comes out, and what he realizes the whole time is that he was letting something that really wasn't a snake but a rope hold him back. So that's false evidence appearing real. So how many of us are doing that? We're afraid because we look at it and we think it's one thing and it's actually something else. You know, I love watching children because they have this fearless quality, and my daughter is like one of my heroes. And I remember her being about 3 or 4 years old, and we first started going to this water park, and she would stand at the top of the slide, and she's youngest, so she's always trying to catch up, and she would stand there and she'd look at the slide and everything in her wanted to go. Everything in her wanted to go, and she would walk away and she would step to it and she would walk away and she'd step to it. And then there was this moment that she just, like, I saw it in her head go, what do I have to lose? And she just like put herself on the slide, and she's like 3.5 years old, and slides down into the water and catches her father and I off guard, and he's at the bottom like catching her. And you know, from that moment on, I saw something within her change, that she has always been one that has been able to look fear in the face and actually move through it. And it was something small, it was a water slide, and it actually now is like funny when we think about how afraid she was to do that. So, you know, all of us have that. So here's what I would encourage this week. Instead of letting your fear keep you small, grow your courage this week. Be willing to look at something that you thought you've been afraid of and look at it really truly and say, is that something really to be afraid of? Or is that something that I'm thinking is a snake is actually a rope? False evidence appearing real. Because your life expands in direct proportion to the courage you bring to it. One last quote that I'm going to share with you, and it's from The Art of the Self by Stephen Halligan. "Fear and doubt are part of my old story. It's a part of me that wanted everything mapped out and planned before I take a leap. In the new story, I embrace the unknown. I'm going to step into the new story now, nurture it, and let it grow into something wild and magnificent." So go out there and be the most amazing, magnificent, courageous you this week. Many blessings.